there Star Wars collectors, welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video and welcome to episode 56 of Ask Bossk's Bounty. You know the deal by now, this is the weekly series where you guys ask me questions in the comment section below and every week I do my very best to answer them. We do have another jam-packed episode again this week, so if you do happen to enjoy it, don't forget to drop a like down below because that really does help the video and the channel in general. And to go along with the questions this week, we do have some information about the giveaway that I was going to be doing for the Mandalorian figure. So I will be hitting 12,000 subscribers any day now. So later on in the video, you'll find out details of how you can win this. Also, we have some awesome fan mail to open this week from one of my Patreon supporters, Gary. He sent me this box here. I have no idea what's in it, so we're going to open that a little bit later in the episode as well. So stay tuned for that. But first of all, let's get on some of the questions. Trilogy says, question for next week. Do you prefer Season 1 Grief or Season 2? I love both and they deserve a vintage collection release badly. So if anyone wasn't aware, obviously we're going to be getting a Grief Karga next year. And we're going to be getting the Season 2 outfit in the vintage collection, whereas the Black series will be getting Season 1. I kind of quite like that we're getting something different, and it also proves the fact that not all Black series figures will eventually become vintage collection and not all vintage collection figures will be Black series. So we've got two different Griefs for each line, which I kind of like, but saying that, of course, I would like the Season 1 Grief Karga. I do like that outfit, it's pretty cool, and you know, it's got to be said, the Black series figure of that particular outfit and the head sculpt specifically is very, very good. Gary Jeffrey says, do you think we'll get a Commander Bly figure in the vintage collection? And in your opinion, why do you think the characters like Count Dooku, Asajj Ventress, Plo Koon, etc. haven't been made? You know, to address the second part of your question, Count Dooku, that is just beyond belief that we haven't got Count Dooku in the vintage collection. I just haven't got a clue why he is missing. I mean, he's got to be addressed at some point, that is for sure. In terms of the Commander Bly, this is the, I guess, most recent one or the latest one that we've got. This was from the Battle Pack, I believe. It's still a great looking figure, but of course we could really do with an update of this figure with, you know, better articulation and everything like that. Based on the sculpt from the ARC Troopers that we recently got, you know, something similar to that, but Commander Bly would be awesome. Spiritual Jedi says, question for next week. Do you think there will be a Clone Wars Vintage Collection Maul and Ahsoka? Those are pretty much dead cert rumours, I do believe. We'll probably be getting those middle of next year based on the Season 7 Maul and Ahsoka. And, you know, I think yakface.com has those as 100% rumours on his website. So fingers crossed. Kremster Create says, with Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian being released yesterday and the reveal of Baby Yoda's name, what are your thoughts? So if anybody is watching that hasn't seen the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, this is going to be a spoiler warning. So we got to know Baby Yoda, or the child's name. I think it was Grogu or something like that. My thoughts on it. You know, I would prefer to know less about the child, if I'm brutally honest. I definitely don't really want to know his species. I don't think they should really delve too far into that. I like the mystery around him. The fact that he's got a name is interesting, and I think there's also another question about the name pill, which we're going to get onto now. And the question was from Zach Krim, and he says, do you think the new figure coming in May will say the child or Grogu on the card back? I'm leaning towards the child because he has his early Season 1 crib. Yeah, I think the images that we've got for the child at the moment are only digital images, including the card back, so it is something that they could change now the name is out there. But I think I'm with you. I think they'll probably keep it as the child purely because it is that earlier version. Now we have a couple of questions here about Haslab, and the first one is from Kakarot Herkes, and he says, will there be another chance to purchase the Haslab Razor Crest? And Onslaught 64 says, a while ago I asked you if you ever thought they would re-release the Sail Barge and you said no. Well, what about the Razor Crest? Do you think they'll re-release it or make another one? Stay safe. So on this occasion, I'm going to let Hasbro themselves answer this question. I got this bit of footage off of Forlom Tezuka, so shout out to Jake Stevens. He was one of the guys that attended the Hasbro QA sessions, and this is what Hasbro said.
All right, good morning, guys. Good to talk to you. Chris, good to see you again. Been a little bit. Congratulations on a really successful Haslab. there's persistent rumors that have been swirling around that the Barge is going to be re-released, or the Razor Crest is going to show up at retail, maybe slightly repainted. It seems like these rumors are unstoppable since the Barge came out, and especially since Razor Crest has slightly different language. Is there any chance, and I mean any chance, of one of the Haslabs being re-released, either through Pulse or at retail for those who miss out during the Haslab project?
Yeah, it's a good question. And first of all, I'll just open it up. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. We love these opportunities. We love obviously kind of the passion, but also it's just fun for us to talk, take 3 hours out of our day and talk Star Wars. So thank you guys for giving us the excuse to do that, because it's awesome. This is great. We'll try to give quick-ish answers, just because we know that there are I think 5 questions from each of the 5 sites to get through, but feel free to follow up. So Arnie, we've seen the same rumors. We won't be re-releasing the Barge. The language was very, very clear there. So I will say we are not re-releasing the Barge. For the Razor Crest, we have no current plans at this time. And so, obviously if you guys like the look of the Razor Crest, it's a big vehicle. It's got a, $350 SRP. We have no plans to do that again. So fans out there, if you like it, we would highly suggest you get it now.
So there you go. That's what they say about that. And, when the first rumour came about the potential re-release of the Barge, I did think it was a bit of a non-starter, if I'm honest. At the end of the day, the whole business model of the Haslab is that, when the time period that you've got to get it is open, that is when you've got to get it. And once it's closed, that's it. Owen Brown says, with Hasbro admitting their mistake on Rex and saying they will address it in the future, what other figures do you wish they would revisit? As always, thanks for the great content. To begin with, I think they should revisit the whole clone. Essentially we need a new clone mould. The ones that we've got in the vintage collection, in terms of, like the Shock Trooper, the 212th and the 501st, the helmets aren't great on those figures and they all need basically redoing. So a new clone from the bottom up would be great. Another figure I wish that they would revisit would be the Luke Dagobah from the 3-pack. The one with the dodgy elbows. When they included that figure in that 3-pack, it's just like, what are you doing? That was an awful figure to begin with, and I think they could just improve on it massively, Fantasy Bricks says, great video, Tim. Question for next week. If your son could have 5 figures that you have, but he doesn't, which ones would he choose? So I've put the 5 of them up here. These are the ones that he regularly talks about. So we've got Ephant Mon, we've got the Vintage Collection Dengar, we've got the Vintage Collection Woof, and we have the Legacy Collection Jiran. Obviously, 3 of those are to do with the Jabba's goons and his henchmen and whatever, and he loves all of that. So those 3. Dengar, he loves Dengar. And recently he's been talking about Commander Gree and Kashyyyk Troopers and creating a little army of those. And this guy's really... I've just been checking the prices for this guy. So either whether you get him in the Vintage Collection, Legacy Collection, or the 30th Anniversary, it's the same figure pretty much throughout. The prices of him have gone up so much in the UK, which is a bit disappointing. But those are the 5 figures that he often talks about in my collection that he would love in his. All right, just a bit of a break from the questions just to tell you about the giveaway. So I did say that when I'd hit 12,000 subscribers, I would do the giveaway, and the giveaway is for the Beskar Mandalorian Black Series figure. Now, the way that you can win this is I will be doing a video about this in the week. So sometime this week, I will be doing a video about this figure. It will be titled Star Wars Black Series Beskar Mandalorian or something like that. I don't want to title it giveaway or have giveaway in the thumbnail or anything like that, because YouTube's a bit funny about that and it won't get to as many of you. It won't come up in your feeds or anything like that. So to get as many people knowing about it as possible and watching the video and entering the giveaway, just look out for my review of this figure. Now, what I would say is that if you do want to make sure that you are notified about this figure, is that you are subscribed to the channel and that you do click the little bell for notifications, and then obviously when I drop the video for the giveaway in the week, you won't miss it. Shakes the Clone says, creature questions, Tauntauns, dewbacks, etc. Can't recall if you fielded this one before. Pass on it if you have. What creature would you most like to see updated, retooled, new sculpt, new paint, etc.? So that would have to be the dewback for me. I've got the vintage one here. This is obviously from 1978, I believe. I would love a new dewback in a vintage style box. That would be awesome. And your second question, what creature that has never produced would you most like to see get a release? That would have to be the Blurgs at this point in time. I know it's not from the original trilogy or anything like that, but you know, the Mandalorian's hot at the moment and we need those Blurgs. Duloc Shaman says, 2 questions for next week. Do you own a pink Russian bootleg Bossk? And who would be your top pick for an expanded universe character for the vintage collection? So yes, I do own a bootleg Russian Orotet Bossk, and he's going to be going off for grading. I think I showed him in a video, my pickup videos in the midweek. Yep, he's a great bootleg and he's going off for grading. While I'm on the subject of pickups, I did have this here. This is my most recent acquisition in terms of vintage Star Wars, and we have the alternate image Leia Organa in her Bespin gown. Lovely example on the Empire Strikes Back card, and fans of the channel will know that I love the alt images. I've got the Vader from Return of the Jedi, Chewie from Return of the Jedi, and now I have this one. So there's a few more that I'm going to need for my collection, most notably the Luke Skywalker Bespin where he's doing the shooting around the corner thing. I need one of those. And of course we've got the Boba Fett Blue Sky. I'd love one of them, but 2 very pricey ones. Luke Gunner as well, another pricey one, but I've got 3 of them so far, which is awesome. As for who would be my top pick from the expanded universe for the vintage collection, there's only one choice for me, and it is this guy here. It would have to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. And spoiler alert again, obviously he was mentioned in a recent episode of The Mandalorian. So, you know, I think it's a good bet that we might finally see that happen. AGC Sawyer says, question for next week, where do you get your stands from for your vintage collection figures, and do you know of any for the Black series? It's annoying when they fall over and take the rest of them down with them. Yeah, it certainly is, my friend. So these are my ones that I have for the vintage collection. They are essentially fake Star Wars stands. They're not real, they're from China. You get them in bags of like 30, I think, very cheap on eBay. If you want the clear stands like this guy, I think I got those from Ian's Displays Accessories on Facebook. He has a Facebook group. He does the star cases and things like that, but he also does figure stands. As for the Black series, your guess is as good as mine. I've never bought any myself because I don't really display too many Black series figures, but I know a lot of people do have that same complaint. All right, so another quick break from the questions, and it's time to open up this fan mail. I had no idea this was coming. It's from Gary Moore, who is one of my Patreon supporters. And talking of Patreon, actually, congratulations to Ryan for winning the ARC Trooper 5's figure in the Patreon giveaway. Congratulations on that, buddy. This is from Gary. As I said, I do not know what's inside, so let's crack it open and see what he sent me. Thank you very much. Let's open this up. Careful with this Stanley blade. Very, very sharp. My mate Stanley. Alright, so there's a note and it says, "Hi Tim, I came across this item in a local Target store and thought you could add the Bossk to your collection, assuming you don't already have this. If you do have this, then maybe it will be a good giveaway item. I also included something for little Bossk. Keep up the good work and I look forward to watching more of your awesome videos. Best regards, Gary Moore." Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. Kind words. And yeah, let's have a look what's inside. Okay. So I presume that's for little Bossk. That's a pop. That's the Mandalorian with child. He's going to absolutely love that. 100%. So thank you very much. And there's something here. We'll just get this box out of the way. Star Wars collectors always package things very nicely. So let's have a look at what's in the bubble wrap. Really well packaged. Oh, wow. First of all, guess what? We've imported a spider from the United States of America. Let's have a look at him quickly. Can we see him? So maybe I should call immigration or something, because it might be a species of spider that doesn't exist in the UK and I could be importing dodgy animals. Anyway, wow, as I was saying, I do not have this, Gary, and this is awesome because I don't think these were available in the UK. So I'm going to keep this like this. This is fantastic. This is like the commemorative, if I can say that word, commemorative set, isn't it? I think there was a few different ones released, but this is obviously the one with Bossk inside. So thank you so much, Gary. I do not have this. As I said, there's the other ones. Yeah, these do not exist in the UK. I mean, obviously, I think some companies may have imported them, but thank you so much for that. That is awesome. And I will also make sure that my son gets hold of this. The Mandalorian with child pops. I don't think he has any pops, you know. So he'll love this. He loves anything with the Mandalorian. So once again, Gary, I do appreciate your generosity. I never know what to say in these situations because I just feel so lucky that people are kind enough to send me gifts. So thank you so much. Star Stop says, great video. Question for next week. What do you think of the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back releases for the Black Series? Did you pick any up? I know you focus on vintage collection. Yep, I picked up all 3 waves and the exclusives and things like that. I'm a sucker for vintage style cards, and whether they've got a 6-inch figure or a 3.75 inch, I'm going to want those in my collection. So I do have all of those, and yeah, I think they're great. And I think it's just a nice thing for the Black Series occasionally to try and mimic the vintage Kenner style, but you'll never beat 3.75 on these card backs. It just won't happen. RX Gold says, do you think we'll get more background characters from Attack of the Clones? Probably not, considering we haven't got any of the foreground characters from Attack of the Clones. I mean, we're missing Dooku, we're missing Padme in her arena outfit. I know she came out in the Black Series 3.75, but we need her on a vintage card. We haven't got a decent Anakin on a vintage card from that film. There's so many figures, you know, big characters from that film that we still haven't got. As for the background characters, I doubt it very much. Dylan Balwinski says, hello Bossk, I have 2 questions for next week. Do you think we'll get a vintage collection Cobb Vanth? And what do you think the chances are we'll get more Mandalorian in TVC, Super Commando or Mandalorian Loyalist? So 100% we'll get a Cobb Vanth at some point. That's just inevitable, definitely. No 2 ways about it. He's a great character and they'll be fools not to do that. Chances of getting more Mandalorian, like a Super Commando or the Mandalorian Loyalist, very, very good figures in the Black Series, and I can only hope that we will get those in the vintage collection. You know, the Mandalorian Loyalist or Death Watch Mandalorian, that's, as I've said before, is just a license for Hasbro to print money in 3.75. I'd probably buy 10 of them, and I'm sure a lot of people would as well. Chief Chirper, great name as always, my friend. Another great video, mate. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Question for next week. You mentioned all the figures from Mandalorian Season 2 that could be released. What would be your top 5? So in my top 5, I would definitely have Cobb Vanth, as we've just discussed. Bo-Katan would be in my top 5. Ahsoka Tano would be in my top 5. Mithril, the blue guy, would be in my top 5. He's a figure that I'd love to be in the vintage collection. And I think Wade Customs did a really good custom of him. So I'm going to plonk him up on the screen so you can have a look at that. Again, Wade Customs on Instagram. I think he did that one especially for me as well. He messaged me saying what figure would I like, and he's one that I sort of suggested. So great looking card back, that one. And then a 5th one, what would I have? I'd probably, Boba Fett would be good, wouldn't it? In his different outfit, that sort of black rags that he's wearing or whatever it is, the cloak. He looked awesome, didn't he? So yeah, those 5 would be my top 5 picks. John Sanders says, hi boss, do you prefer figures with soft good capes or hard plastic? Or don't you mind? It all depends on how well they do it. So for example, the Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight soft goods cape is expertly done. You couldn't get that any better, and it almost makes the figure what it is. Then again, there are other instances where, you know, they haven't done it so well. Darth Maul springs to mind. Awful cape on that guy. So it all depends on how well they do it. Vader, for example, I would prefer a soft goods cape. We're going to have to see what the new one's going to look like for the Rogue One. and we'll compare it to some older ones. All right then, guys, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching as usual. Drop a like down below and please leave your questions for next week's episode. Once again, thank you very much for watching and we shall see you on the next one.